Madam Chair, your meeting is now live.
Thank you, Florence. Welcome everyone to the November 17th meeting of Community Board 1 Queens. Before we start, I'd like to take a moment to remember Lucille Hartman, our former district manager who passed away last month. Lucille was a dedicated public servant who gave of herself for this community for many decades. She will be remembered by all of us who knew her as a kind and generous person, always a class act, dealing with all of us and the public. And we will miss her. Thank you. Okay. Now, it's my pleasure if Captain Jenkins is here, the commanding officer of the 114 precinct, to have him come on up and introduce himself. I know,
Hello?
Paula, yes.
Oh, hello, how are you? It's Captain Jenkins.
Good evening, Captain Jenkins, and welcome to Community Board 1 Queens. And please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what's going on in the 114. Hi there.
I'm getting, I'm in and out I'm in and out.
We can hear you.
Okay, my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, would you like to start and introduce yourself and where you've been before and how you find the 114, even though we know it's the best precinct in the land? Maybe
Definitely.
you would like to expound on that.
Definitely. The 114, it's been approximately almost 6 weeks. I've been here in the 114. You know, like I said, as an introduction, happy to be here. It's a very diverse community.
I think he's having problems.
A lot of groups. I've allowed to meet a lot of prominent members of the community. Before I got here, I was in the gang division for Queens North. So predominantly of my time was spent in the housing developments, Astoria, Woodside, Queensbridge, and Ravenswood. Got to do some interesting work there. A lot of work with the federal prosecutors as well as our local state out of Queens District Attorney's Office. You know, like I said, since I've been here, you know, we've been seeing some increases in several of our categories with the crime and the overall. We are at an overall crime increase for our 28-day period. Can you still hear me?
Yes, you keep freezing up.
You're freezing on us.
Am I still here?
You are? Can you hear us?
Okay, sorry about that. We're getting a little technical difficulty. Yes, I can hear you. So, you know, with that said, you know, working with my partnership, my partners, community affairs, NCOs, you know, Carlos and Mashriki here. This to you all. You know, just sitting here to formulate plans and ideas. Listen to community concerns, quality of life, overall conditions, and you know, formulate a plan to address these issues that I've seen, and you know, and also anticipate to formulate plans on any issues that I see coming.
What would you say is the biggest crime rise in the area as you see it lately? Can you hear me?
You're breaking up. You'd have to repeat, please.
What do you see
I
as
can hear you now.
Okay, the biggest crime rise in the area since you've been here?
As soon as you get to the what if I seen part, I'm losing.
I'm sorry, what's the biggest rise in crime you've seen since you're here? No.
Jumped off the way.
Marie, send a chat.
Well, I think you're having trouble, technical difficulties.
I'm hearing part coming in and out. So can you repeat the last question? I think I'm getting a little better now.
Okay. What is the biggest rise in crime you've seen since you've been here?
Well, you know, a lot of the biggest crime increase that I've seen since I've been here is, you know, due to a convenience. We do have a big service area for Revel. So Revel provides the scooters, which you can, you know, register online, sign up, and you pick the scooter up and you ride off. So with these scooters being in Astoria, I think we have over 300 at any given time scooters. I see that people are taking opportunity to steal the lithium batteries inside the scooter, which is driving the percentages of a lot of our property crimes. I'm also seeing an increase in the GLAs due to people leaving their cars running. They're leaving their cars running or keys in the car. You know, due to technology now, we have these key fobs. The key fobs often get left in the cup holder or get left in the car somewhere, and people tend to, you know, leave the vehicle unoccupied, and then people are taking this as an opportunity to take those cars. It's also, you know, an issue with the commercial businesses, you know, the body shops and the repair shops, being that they have limited space when they want to work on vehicles and whatever have you. They'll move a car while another mechanic's moving another car. Someone will use that as an opportunity to jump in the car and drive off. I attribute a lot of that also to the outdoor dining, because people are trying to go into the restaurant or these 24-hour shops or a food truck, and you have the outdoor dining tents or huts, which is giving them limited sight on their vehicle. They leave the car running, and then someone jumps in and takes the car. So a lot of awareness. I've been utilizing our extensive auxiliary program, get those officers out there handing out awareness flyers. We're using social media to do awareness. Been going to the businesses, making them aware of these vehicles that's left running. So those are the two main categories that's driving our crime increases.
Thank you.
Marie,
Yes,
can you ask, there's several people not muted and we're getting a lot of interference?
yes. Gloria, can you mute your phone, Gloria?
And Eli Barbecue Guy, several others.
Can everybody please mute their phones or their mics, please?
Just want to note, Florence should be able to mute participants.
Captain Jenkins, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you.
Okay, Ann, are you on the line? Ann Bruno? Can you hear me, Ann?
Yes,
Do you have any questions for Captain Jenkins?
no.
No. Does anybody else have a question for Captain Jenkins?
I do.
Evie Hansopoulos, go ahead, Evie.
Hi, good evening. I have two questions actually, or one comment and a question. The comment is, I know that many residents in Queensbridge have been upset by the constant lights at night when, you know, people are out just trying to, you know, they've been having some gatherings and, you know, arts kind of activities and with children, and the lights have been very disturbing and traumatizing to the young people. The police cars have been flashing them just for no apparent reason. So I just wanted to kind of bring that to your attention. I think they've tried to reach out. But since you're here, I didn't know you were here. I would have told them to come and maybe
I
comment as
actually,
well. That is just something that they brought up. And it's just been really upsetting to some of the young children who have been there that the lights are kind of shine directly on them for no apparent reason. So just wanted to bring
Okay.
that to attention.
I can speak from the agency standpoint. The NYPD standpoint is Queensbridge is governed by, not only the 114, but also PSA 9, which is the Housing Bureau. Captain Jambrone and we have a great working relationship where we have constant communication. I believe I took a call from Jimmy Van Bramer, or Councilman Van Bramer, about less than 7 days ago in regards to gatherings and the lights. And that issue was directed towards the housing development commander and whatever plan he has with where he places his vehicles or what he does with the light positioning. So to speak from the agency point, I would assume it's some kind of deterrent for crime. It's some kind of deterrent from illicit activities. But from an exact standpoint of why that particular development is doing that, I can't speak for the housing commander, but I can tell you from the agency standpoint on my assumption why that's happening. And I myself have spoken to Councilman Van Bramer.
Okay, thank you. Maybe it's a deterrent, I think, in terms of the agency's approach, but it's really traumatizing the children who are like 9 and 10 years old. So it's not having the effect that you think it's having, at least for some segment of the population. My other question was, through the Department of Transportation and also directly myself, we've been asking for some new barricades for the 31st Ave Open Street and just haven't gotten any. So I'm just wondering
Which
when we'll be able to get those.
which street is that again?
The 31st Avenue Open Street.
Okay.
I left a message for you the other day, but I know that Department of Transportation has reached out to the 114th many times and said we would get some new barricades because they've been damaged. They're falling apart. We don't have enough. So I'm just wondering when we might be able to get some.
Okay. That's something I'd have to look at. I'll speak to community affairs once we get off the line, and I'll find out the previous plan of action and what we could do moving forward.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Dan, is that you?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, Dan here.
Dan
Yeah.
Alberti.
You said that you came from the gang detail or area. Are there any major gang activity issues in this community board at this time?
Speaking as what you want, do you want an overall view of it, or you want exact numbers?
Overall.
Okay. Well, overall, majority of our gang membership is on development. Unfortunately, to give you a rough estimate, I would say East Development has at least 3 to 4 gang or crews that various people associate with. Some of them, being in the gang division as long as I've been, there's some that's just mimicking actions they see, and then there's some that's really involved in these gangs and actively contributing to the fruition of the gang. So just roughly, I would say out of the 4 developments, if we were to break that down by say 3 to 5, any given day in the 114, you can have upwards of 20 different gang or crews.
Is there activity isolated to those areas, or is it throughout the community board? I mean,
A lot of these developments have geographical investigations going on. So these things can stem from on development and go anywhere throughout the city, but they primarily start on development. So it's not like, like a gang member, we do have a lot of nightlife and a lot of business. So at any given moment, someone can go to say Steinway, or go to Astoria Park or Queensbridge Park at any given moment. So, but the concentration of the gang membership is usually primarily in this command on development.
okay, so if I'm walking in the street on any old street, I don't have to worry as much as if I were walking around in one of those developments. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say you don't have to worry as much because even you have to look at the population. For Queensbridge, for example, has well over 100,000 residents, and I can say maybe 10 or 15 are problematic. So that's a small percentage as far as the residency. So the average person going to and fro, conducting their business, going to the train system, going to grocery shopping, they're not really subject to crimes. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this call, majority of our increase in crime is property, batteries, and people unattended vehicles. No one's really at a great increase. Actually, robberies are down for the year, so we can speak to that. Assaults are even. So these crimes aren't really something that somebody has to walk down the streets of Astoria and look over their shoulder. I'm not saying that.
Well, with all the people being locked down or staying in their homes so much, is there much more domestic violence going on?
Daniel, we have other people waiting to ask questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question.
I have a question.
My
Okay,
question is,
just a minute, please.
okay.
Okay, Vanessa, go ahead.
Thank
And
you.
then Marcus.
Want to first make a statement to the last caller. Here in Astoria houses, we did see an increase of like shootings or what have you. And just Sunday, detectives came to each of our homes in my building, asking about a shooting. Unfortunately, I was asleep. I didn't hear anything. But to talk about the safety of the communities, you must also understand, Dan, that the residents of Astoria, Ravenswood, and Queensbridge, as well as Woodside, wish to rid this small percentage that gets 95% attention in our community. So it's kind of unfair to keep that stigma on us about gang-related or what have you, because we have dealt with that, like these issues that Captain Jenkins is talking about, of the robberies of these vehicles or whatever, could be part of a gang as well. So to just lie that on us is unfair. And I'm very disappointed that that was taken in context, because I do not want anyone to fear entering in our neighborhoods, because what happens to us far too many times, these type of things that occur in our communities, it's appeared that they get so much attention that it's not that big of a percentage as it may appear. But we also as residents want a safe neighborhood and want to rid our community of crimes, as well as us being targeted out when we go out and about the communities outside of our developments. But what my question was, Captain Jenkins, is due to the fact that I see a lot of young people because of the fact that we're locked down. And it's unfortunate that because everybody, they're kind of stagnated in what they do. It's not where they're able to freely be able to get back into the community centers, get back into different activities to keep them occupied. And I remember before, I'm sure you have heard this before, when you was in that unit, about how we trying to rid a lot of the young people from joining these gangs or any other variations of gangs, because sometimes they go outside communities and other gangs are influenced by each other, no matter what community they come from. But the concern is now that I remember y'all was trying to do a thing with the youth, like a youth summit or something. And I know because it's so difficult now, how are you guys kind of still monitoring that? How are you guys still trying to keep a hold on that where it won't get out of control?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Vanessa, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I want to piggyback on what you said, just so we could get it on the open forum. You're 100% right that the small minority does get a lot more attention than the overall good that does happen in the developments. I want to point out, especially where you're from, Astoria, they did within the last few weeks, they have like opera over there off First Street. They have an opera on Broadway, so people are coming into the community. You have the Hewart building over there. So there's a lot of good going on in and around these places. And like you said, a lot of the minority get the majority of the press. And unfortunately, it is Astoria. So if we do get a shooting or we do get a high incident, it is going to get much more notoriety than other areas in the city, especially in Astoria. That's to piggyback off what you said. And with the gang aspect, I've been speaking to he's primarily out of Queensbridge, K Bang. He has a lot of programs. He has a lot of things that he wants to, bring forward, and also, start to spread that outside of Queensbridge into the other development, basically into the entire community. Let's not get this mistaken as it's only a housing issue. Like I said, a lot of our crime is being driven off development with property crimes. You know, it seems like crimes of opportunity. Nothing that I can contribute to a gang, but you know, I think, you know, in this climate, everything is socially socially awkward, and we have youth that are growing up and not being able to experience the things that a lot of us on this call experience: proms, graduations, celebrations, birthdays. You know, all of these things. You know, it does take a toll socially on a lot of these youth. In regards specifically to Astoria, I know actually tomorrow I have scheduled a turkey drive.
Yes.
So on in opposite of 125 Astoria, behind that building in the circle there's
Yes.
going to be a turkey drive. We'll be giving away approximately 100 turkeys and an additional plates, pre-made plates that we're getting brought in. So, you know, that's just my take on that element and my view on how the minority a lot of play, but it's not really what it's perceived to be.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, hello.
Yes.
My question is, I called the DOT regarding 31st Avenue being closed.
Mhm.
And I live in the neighborhood and I noticed it's never really being used. Does it make sense to keep that open? It's causing a lot of traffic in the neighborhood.
Is this regards to the barricades?
Yes.
To keep this
Barricades.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut in here. Marcy, this is not
Maria,
an
is
item, this is not an item for the police department.
Ever use that open street, one of those streets that.
Can everyone mute, please?
Marcy? Marcy?
Yes.
This is not an item to take up with the police department. Okay, the Open Streets program is run by DOT.
Yes,
So okay, so if you're concerned about its use, that's the agency to contact, okay?
Oh, thank you.
Thank
I have a
you.
question.
Yes, Tom?
Captain, I know
Yes.
we're under COVID-19, but is there any way we can bring back some form of the community council and the NCO meetings? Because I think they're important.
They are very important, but you know, myself and Ann, we spoke, and you know, I don't think there's the NCO meetings are still on. They still have the NCO meetings. However, the community council meetings, we're looking at this increases in the COVID spikes, and you know, just to weigh on arm of caution and safety. We all have each other's phone number. At least that's what I'm understanding. We all have open lines of communication. So until maybe we get a decrease in these outbreaks, we could probably take these meetings, you know, virtually or just a simple phone call to myself, community affairs, or whoever, and maybe we can rectify any issues rather than put certain members at harm, because we are promoting, you know, social distancing. We are promoting no gatherings. We are promoting at least until the 15th of
I'm
December
working. I got a community board meeting.
under the governor's order.
If you could do something on Zoom, at least once a quarter or something, it'd be nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Captain Jenkins, for being here. I know you have another commitment at 7 o'clock. So thank
Can I
you
ask
for
one
taking the
question, Marie?
time.
One more question, Marie?
Yes.
You're the last one, Dominic. Just one more question.
Hey, commanding officer, I live in the Dutch Hills neighborhood and I chatted my question. Can you speak about the impact of the significant influx of homeless people to our Dutch Hills neighborhood and how that's affected your metrics of crime?
Yes. So in our sector, Charlie, and bordering our sector, David, primarily around Queensbridge houses and the plaza streets over there, we do have a increase of about 14 relocation sites, which are hotels. Currently, hotels has been used as a relocation center for the homeless population, so they can social distance into individualized rooms. That has brought up our population up another 1,500 about 1,500 or more members in the community that normally aren't residents due to this distancing. I was told that 4 of which will remain in place until at least 2023, and with no anticipated end date on the other 10. So as of right now, we're up to 14 sites, and an increase of about 1,500 in population, of which some are diagnosed with mental illness. So that's where you're seeing a lot of somewhat of a spike in those two sectors. You there?
I'm here. I was muted. Thanks for your answer. So you've given the facts on the increase in homeless, but I didn't really hear any increase in your, like, changing your procedures. And also, I'd be curious to know which of those 4 hotels are the permanent ones. And thank you.
Well, as you know, the NYPD had a Department of Homeless Outreach Unit, which was actually disbanded as per the Chief of Department's office. These hotels are manned by DHS, Department of Homeless Services. I spoke to their director, Amanda Nasneer. So this is something that I'm trying to work with DHS. What I have done is she gave me the opportunity to present any problematic residents to her, and she can see if she can relocate them elsewhere.
Okay, Dominic? Okay, thank you, Captain Jenkins. I just have a final question that came in the chat.
Sure.
About advertising or letting the public know about the Build the Block meetings.
Okay, we usually, we can get that information would definitely be disseminated on our Twitter page. For all of you, it's 114 Crescent. And we also have a Facebook page, 114 Precinct. So a lot of our communication is disseminated on that page.
And how far in advance do you advertise these meetings?
Due to we try to give everyone ample time. I would definitely say anywhere between a 72-hour window prior to the meeting, it would be broadcasted.
Okay, thank you. And thank you so much for being here. It's 7 o'clock and I know you have another commitment, so we thank you. And we hope to invite you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Public hearing item, the New York Landmarks Preservation Commission approval to facilitate replacement of 11 windows on the west facade of the Queen's Plaza Clock Tower. I think, is there a Michael Granville here to do the presentation?
Yes, hi, I'm here.
Okay.
Good evening.
Hello.
I'm sorry to interrupt. It's Florence.
Oh,
So everyone,
I'm
if
sorry.
you're ready, I can share my screen and go.
I'm sorry, Mr. Granville. Do you mind if I put you on hold for 1 little minute?
Sure.
Okay, I understand Council Member Constantinides
Yes.
is here and he would like to say a few words. Costa, you there?
I am. I don't want to hold you up. I know you have a schedule. I just wanted to quickly come in and say hello.
Well, we're happy
Hi,
to see you.
everyone. It is good to see everyone. It is good to be seen. Thank you all for all of your service, despite everything that's going on. COVID is back. It never left, but we are seeing a second wave here in the city. So I thank you for all the work that you're doing. I just wanted to give everyone a really quick update on a couple of things. I know that today we voted on the garage.
Who's speaking? Who's speaking?
It's Costa Constantinides. How are you?
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Costa.
So we voted, the city council today voted at a landmark sightings, the garage. So the sanitation garage, it still has to go in front of the whole council at the end of this month, but it will be moving to the site that the community board voted on back a few months ago. We'll be going around 19th Avenue and 33rd. So here's some of the particulars. Number one, the trucks will not be allowed to come out onto 20th Avenue because 20th Avenue is already a tight street. So they'll be coming and going through 19th Avenue only. So there will be no, 20th Avenue on that particular street, no garbage trucks on that street, unless they're picking up garbage on 20th Avenue or they're plowing 20th Avenue. The second part of it is that it's going to be fully, sustainable. They're going to have solar power that's going to power a large part of the building. It's going to be opportunity when COVID is over, that, whenever that is, which hopefully is soon, that our students from the local schools will be able to take field trips. Of course, it's not going to smell. It's going to be off the street. It's going to be far back. And then the other two pieces is that there'll be a traffic study of 21st Street because the BQX is not happening, right? We're all aware that the BQX, that big, so there'll be a traffic study done of 21st Street that DOT committed to. And the other thing they committed to today is that, Housing Preservation Development, HPD, committed to going through a community process. Because right now, the Western Queens Community Land Trust and the Ravenswood tenants have been holding meetings, along with Community Board 1, on the future of that site, the future of the 21st Street site. We got them to commit to going a full process and that it cannot be sold to a private developer. This is not going to be business as usual, where we're going to balance the city budget by selling this property. We put it into the commitment letter from HPD that it can only be 100% affordable housing or public use. So it'll be public use or 100% affordable housing on public land. And they have to work with the community to come up with a vision for what it is. So this building, this site is not going to be sold. It's been an environmental justice issue. I know Queensview and North Queensview. I know that in my district, I know in Councilman Van Bramer's district, the Ravenswood tenants have been dealing with this for generations. This will finally be resolved once we get the money to build the garage, and hopefully that'll be soon. So they've subcommittee voted today. About November 30th will be the full vote of the council, and that'll finally get done. We had the city budget as part of this year's city budget. I know you've probably all seen this already. We got $3 million for Mount Sinai, Queens, for new equipment there, around MRIs and other things. We made sure that we got more money to our hospitals that desperately need it. And the last thing I'll say is I know that Kate was on here earlier, a volunteer from the community. I know we gave Florence, we dropped off 1,000 masks with Florence, who's mailing them to everybody in 1105. The numbers for COVID right now in our district are not good. They are not. 1105 last week was at 4.81%. Every zip code in our district is close to almost 3%. Those are really scary numbers. We need to grab a hold of this situation very quickly. So that means wearing a mask. That means social distancing. That means washing your hands all the time. That means avoiding large social gatherings indoors. So I know this is tough. I'm a Greek who's married to an Italian. We have these big family gatherings for Thanksgiving. This year, if you're having Thanksgiving with someone you don't live with, it's very, very risky. So I would say that, please, everyone, we have a chance here to kind of fight back on a second wave that's bearing down really hard. I don't want to see our small businesses get hit. I don't want to see our schools close. I don't want to see our hospitals go through what they went through in April, because I was in the emergency room in April and May, and nobody wants to see that. Too many people lost their lives. Too many people got very sick. So I'm imploring everyone, please take this seriously. And thank you to Kate Peterson and her volunteers who are going to be out there, been out there already volunteering. Please make sure that you're social distancing and taking this seriously, wearing a mask, because this thing doesn't discriminate and it's deadly. So thank you for having me on tonight. And I can take like a quick question or two, but I know you have another presentation and I also have to go stay on my schedule as well. So I'm happy to take, I know I wasn't planning on being here, but I wanted to say hello and wish you all happy Thanksgiving as well.
Before we take questions, Costa, I think I speak for everybody when I say it's wonderful to see you. And thank you for bringing us all this wonderful news. I think there's some concern also about 11105 and the lack of testing sites in the area because the city MD lines are blocks long. So if we could get some other testings or mobile testing sites here, it would be great.
So the Northern Boulevard site at Sports Authority, which is not 1105, I know that. I grew up in 1105. I know the zip codes well. The site at Sports Authority just expanded the rapid testing. So they're doing the PCR, they're doing the molecular testing, and they're doing the rapid testing. We are looking for a location 1105 that has a bathroom for staff that's indoors. I'm struggling with finding that. That's not a school. So I'm looking for that location in 1105. If anyone has any ideas, let me know. We know that there is going to be more contact testing and tracing in 1105. They're working on that, and we're going to have a day of action. We're going to be educating this week as well. So I'm really concerned as well. I brought all these issues to the mayor's office. I'm not going to rest until we find a location for rapid testing, but we need the way we can get grab the tiger by the tail here. I mean, this isn't like a big secret, right? We did it in April. We don't gather indoors. We social distance. We wash our hands. We wear a mask. Sounds really simple. I've been walking around the neighborhood. It's not the case. People are not social distancing the way they used to. There's fatigue. And we got to grab a hold of that fatigue because, this disease isn't fatigue. It's getting worse.
Does anybody else have a question for the council member?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment. It's Richard Kazami.
Hey, Rich.
Hi, how you doing? I just want to thank you for all the help you gave, along with with Andres and Lisa Stone from the PS 171, Claudia Koger, for working on getting the four-way stop at 12th Street and Astoria Boulevard. I appreciate your work towards that. It's been an important addition so that the kids from Astoria houses have a safe walk up to a PS 171 and back. So I just wanted to acknowledge your help on that.
Well, Richard, thank you. And thank you for all of your work at Old Astoria Neighborhood Association to make that happen. And it was a great thing. The best part about this stop sign is that we did not have a tragic incident that led to it. Right? The community got together and said this should happen. And, we were proactive rather than reactive, which is a beautiful thing.
Yep.
Too often in government, we do things the wrong way. So thank you for doing it. And it worked out really well.
I have a statement. Costa, thank you. I would like to say thank you for coming out Sunday. As you all know, we have a building and fully down with the gas line, and then another building that has just a line down. And Costa and Donovan Richards, our borough president, and Carolyn Maloney, the congresswoman, were all there to support us and introduce themselves to the residents of and hearing their concerns about how they're dealing with this issue, as well as being involved with the test and trace for Astoria and Long Island City. of the project director for a lot of those locations. And we thank you for also giving your testimony on that, to also include the fact of the seriousness of this, because I will piggyback off what we said, how it's not, a lot of people are not taking this serious. They're not realizing that this is something that you can just die from, and the numbers are peaking in our community. And that's what we are coming up against, especially when you have far too many people that still listens to this administration that claims that this is not as serious as it is. And I want to thank you for giving your testimony of what you and your family have gone through, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you for doing what you did on Sunday. I mean, the residents at 104 Astoria Boulevard have been suffering for weeks, and NYCHA has really screwed this up. And the fact that Queens Together was able to organize and get food to them for the holidays. We're going to continue to advocate to get the gas on. I think it should be electric stoves instead, personally. But we need to get that. We need to get something for them to cook. And we definitely need to be able to support them. So I know that Evie's been out there a lot with hot food. I know that Vanessa and Queens Together, you organized on Sunday.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is what a community is all about, right? We're in a pandemic, and we have this tragic instance where the house, the buildings at Astoria houses has no heat and no cooking gas. And community has come together and rallied around them. So thank you for doing that. It's really been
so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Costa, for all you do.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you for having me. Thank you for all that you do. And I miss you all. And I look forward when COVID is over that we're getting together and seeing each other again.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Take care of yourself. A happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Okay. Mr. Granville, thank you so much for being on pause. So you may continue now. With the
Okay, thank you.
presentation. Thank you.
Should I go ahead and share my screen to put up the presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, everyone. My name is Michael Granville. I'm an architect with the firm Darius Taraby Architects. And we've been engaged for the last couple of years restoring the exterior of the Queens Plaza clock tower. We're meeting tonight to talk to you about one of the last phases of that work, which has to do with repairing and replacing the windows on this building. The building is located right near this Dutch Kills Park at the meeting of kind of Queens Boulevard and Northern Boulevard and the approach to the Queensboro Bridge. These are some images of the building from years and years ago when it was constructed. And these are some photos of the building prior to our facade restoration work that's been going on. The current work has to do with replacing 11 windows on the west facade of the building. And you can see them in this slide here. Prior to this landmark building being designated as a landmark, prior owners had removed windows and replaced them with louvers to provide office spaces with air conditioning and mechanical equipment heating. Ownership would like to replace these louvers now at these 11 openings with windows. The reason that we're convening public hearings for this subject is because we are proposing to use a different material for these windows than the original windows were made from. The original windows are made from formed bronze. They're all patina green now. And the windows we're proposing to use are either steel or aluminum, depending on whether the windows need to be fire rated or not. This is an image of what a typical single window looks like. They're very, very simple looking windows. They don't have a lot of ornate moldings, but as you can see, the bronze has turned green over the years. Here's another image of another single window. At the top of the building, there are arched top windows. At the 12th floor, there are several of these on the building, but most are ordinary flat top windows. Although, and at the back of the building, there are wider openings that have 3 windows installed in them. This slide shows the windows again that are proposed to be replaced, right? No, rather the louvers that are proposed to be replaced with windows. These are the only windows that are proposed to be worked on, the only openings proposed to be worked on at this time. Landmarks, when initially discussing this project with us, felt that since we needed to go to a public hearing for permission to use either steel or aluminum in replacement of bronze, they asked that we present a window master plan for the entire building so that the windows we're choosing and that we're asking you to allow us to use now for these 11 would also be pre-approved for use in the future. These are some images of the existing windows and their dimensions and appearance. You can see that they're green, but they're also rather weathered. Some other images from outside and inside. These are just drawings of the elevations of the building, the front facing the park, here on the left. The west facade, which is the facade we're planning to change the louvers to windows on. And as well, the east facing the elevated trains on Northern Boulevard. And the rear of the building, which is now facing the high-rise construction that's been in progress behind this clock tower building. As you can see in the photos, some of the windows are 2/2 in configuration and some are 1/1 in configuration. We're going to keep things just the same way as they are. At the lower floors of the building, the windows are required to be fire rated. And as a result, we've very limited choices in what windows we can use there. And as you can see in this drawing, the original windows are on the left, the proposed windows are on the right. The proposed windows are a little bit heavier in their sash frames than the original, but they do fall within Landmarks Preservation Commission guidelines for not reducing the glass area very much. The reduction is less than 10%. And then at higher floors where the windows do not require to be fire rated, we're able to use a window that is much closer in all of its dimensions to the existing. These are some other images, drawings of the triple windows at the back of the building and the archtop windows. We will be reproducing these in very closely matching the size and configuration of the existing windows. There's also a courtyard in the building, visible from the east side, although one can't really see what's going on in there from public places. But we'll also be replacing eventually the windows in that courtyard with these windows matching the operation and sashes and a number of lights and divisions just to match existing. This is a cut sheet for the fire rated window, which is a steel window. And this is a cut sheet for an aluminum window manufactured by Skyline Windows and specifically made to mimic the appearance of this type of historic window, which are known as Pomeroy windows after the manufacturer of these from 100 years ago. As you've seen in the other photos, the windows existing have a green patina and bronze, and the new windows will also be painted a patina green. They won't have a natural patina green finish, but will have a patina green factory applied paint that will closely match existing color. So that's it. There's a little more technical information in this appendix, but I think I could open it up to questions now if you like, just to keep it short.
Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it over to and ask Elizabeth Arion, the co-chair of the committee, if there were any questions presented by the committee.
There we go. Okay. Hello, everyone. Mr. Granville came and spoke to us at our November 4th meeting, and it's a very straightforward issue that we were dealing with, simple replacement of windows with a product that they were replacing a product that doesn't exist anymore with something that is as close as possible. And there were very few questions about the substance of replacing it in terms of reproduction, et cetera. The only issue was the fact that, there was a question about whether or not there would be future public hearings for other things. And my understanding is that for window replacements, no, but if there is any other change in the building facade, that there would be. Correct me if I am wrong on that, Mr. Granville?
It depends on the character of the change. If it's something that's approvable on a staff level at Landmarks Preservation Commission,
correct,
then there wouldn't be a public hearing for that. But we've really done a pretty comprehensive restoration of this building, and I think apart from these windows, we're not going to see much work there in the future.
Good. And I must tell you, I did pass by the clock tower that is completed now. It is one of them. I have never seen it so beautiful in all my life, even with the reproduction materials. So if you're on the train going around that curve, or if you're driving over the bridge, stop and take a look at that clock tower now. The question I have is it going to be functional soon?
Well, the motors are all in. It's ready to tell time.
Mm-hmm.
We're working out we're tweaking the lighting to get that to work as well, so it's illuminated at night. So it's very close to telling time again.
Great.
On all four sides.
Okay. But it is beautiful. So take advantage of it now. Take a look at it. But anyway, there were, the committee I guess we'll talk about the recommendation during committee. Do you want to do that or?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody else have a question for Mr. Granville?
Yes, I have a question. Daniel.
Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, hi. You said that the old windows are no longer being made. They're no longer available from 100 years ago. However, have you contacted any fabricators, people who fabricate windows, to use the old type, use bronze and fabricate new frames?
Sure. I mean, we've researched this, and while one can buy bronze windows that are put together from bronze extrusions, meaning a piece together from bronze angles and tees and shapes like this. This type of formed bronze hollow metal window is very rare. It's not impossible to obtain, but is impossible to get in to perform in a modern fashion in terms of energy efficiency. The windows that we're proposing to use are modern in terms of their ability to minimize heat loss. I mean, windows are big causes of heat loss no matter what you do, but we're able to use thermally broken windows and with all of the modern engineering of a modern era steel or aluminum window.
So that's basically a modified restoration, not a 100% restoration to what it would have been, I guess, 100 years ago. The other question is the glass that would have been used in those days would be lead glass. And how would the lead glass perform if you were to use the old style glass?
Well, the building has two levels of window in terms of their performance right now. Originally, from floors 3 to 6, because the there were adjacent buildings with wood frame roofs. They were required to have fire rated versions of these windows at floors 3 through 6. And at those windows, there is wire glass now. And we're planning to put wire glass back in order to be true to the original appearance in that fashion. And then at floors where we're not required to be rated, where the glass is clear glass now, we'll have clear glass at those windows.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question to Mr. Granville? No. Thank you so much, Mr. Granville. You can unshare your screen now. Thank you.
Okay. Hold on while I stumble through the technology.
Do we have any elected officials here who would like to make an announcement?
Hi, this is Taekwon Coleman from Office of Senator Ramos. I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We're also hosting a Thanksgiving giveaway this Friday at Louis Armstrong Middle School. Families will either receive a physical turkey or a turkey voucher. And also our constituent services team is available Monday through Friday, same 9 to 5. Our number is 718-205-3881. And I'm going to put everything I just said in the chat if you didn't catch it. And on behalf of the senator and the entire staff, we want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Marie, may I go?
Who's speaking?
Joe from Queens.
Oh, Joe, of course you may go.
Hi, folks. Good to see everyone. A couple of very quick announcements. 11/18 on the 18th, the borough president is holding her 11th job fair, 2 p.m. You can connect. It's virtual, obviously. 2 p.m. It's on the website. On 11/19 at 6 p.m., a virtual parent advisory board. I will send Florence and Marie tomorrow the flyer for that, but you can also get on through our website, and that's at 6 p.m. on the 19th. December 3rd, we are hosting the Borough Hall tree lighting, and we're going to give it a run and doing it live. We have a big lawn. We're going to try and socially distance. Wink, wink, Santa will be there, but we'll send out more information. That'll be 4:30 on December 3rd. And with that, I wish you all well, happy, safe Thanksgivings for you and your family.
Thank you, Joe. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ernie Brooks here.
Go ahead, Ernie.
Yeah, here for Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney, who also wants to wish everybody, well, thanks for giving me this chance to update her activities a bit and wish everybody a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Obviously, it's going to be very different for many families because of the COVID. And really to piggyback on what Costas was saying, it was great to see him and to hear everything he was doing. We were all at that event Sunday at Astoria Houses. And the problems at NYCHA, and especially there, have been something that Carolyn has been trying to work on. As you know, or people may know, there is a pilot program which NYCHA has just instituted, I think starting 3 weeks ago, which involves trying to redesign the maintenance system there. It's a pilot program where they'll be putting more of the skilled tradesmen in the houses themselves so they can get on the job when there's a maintenance problem more quickly, because it's been a huge problem, the amount of time it's taken to fix some things which should be able to be fixed very quickly. Obviously, this gas line is a fairly major repair that's being made there, which is, I guess everybody knows that there's 45 families that have been without gas for over 50 days now. And this is especially critical with how are they going to cook for Thanksgiving. And that's one of the reasons that, and a shout out to Evie, to all the work she's been doing, getting them hot food on Saturdays. And then Queens Together, Jonathan Forgash, who's been helping bringing on Sunday food from M. Wells Restaurant, as well as a bunch of crock pots that were assembled. I think Costco chipped in, and then other donors chipped in. So this is anyway, this all that's been going on in Astoria and Long Island City. I mean, obviously it's not great because it's happened because there's such dire need, but it's encouraging that all this is continuing to help answer that need. And obviously she's, the Congresswoman is in DC now, and I guess there's hope of pushing forward and getting some kind of a relief package. Maybe the fact that we have a new president, even though he is obviously hoping that the one that we're hoping will leave makes it easier for the transition to start happening, or we're hoping his bully pulpit will help push the Congress and notably the Senate towards allowing some kind of a new relief package to be ratified, because as we know, the Congress has voted 2, but then the Senate has blocked them. And we all know that there's small businesses and restaurants that are really in dangers of dying in our neighborhoods. So anyway, on that note, let me just thank you and go on.
Thank you, Ernie. Anyone else, elected
Marie.
officials?
Hi, Marie. Daniel
Hi.
Balancios with Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez.
Hey, Daniel. Go ahead, please.
Just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. As Ernie mentioned, the House is back in session this week, and they'll go back into session again after the week after Thanksgiving. Last week, the Congresswoman hosted a virtual town hall on Thursday. She shared the most recent guidance from the city and state on COVID-19 and took questions from constituents. If you missed the event, you can watch it on our YouTube page at Rep AOC. I'll share the link in the chat. Does someone have a TV on?
Excuse me, could everyone mute, please? I'm having trouble hearing the speaker.
Deborah, can you mute? I think it's you.
And every morning when I'm on my game.
Deborah
All
Harrington.
right, I'm trying to get to it.
Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry, Daniel.
That's okay.
Continue.
Thanks, Deb. If you want to get notifications about our upcoming events, you can sign up for our newsletter. I'll also share those links. We have the newsletter in English and in Spanish. Like Ernie said, we're hopeful about a new stimulus package, but we don't have any concrete updates at this time. It's mostly waiting on Senator McConnell, but we'll give you updates as soon as we have them. But this week on the floor, the Congresswoman will recognize the centennial of the Jewish Center of Jackson Heights. We're proud of their long history of service to our Jewish American and wider Queens community. I note this knowing that the center is not in CB1, but just if you know of other institutions or individuals that you would recommend for recognition, just please reach out to us. Making speeches on the floor of the House to honor institutions and individuals that we're proud of in our community is something that we are excited to do when we're able. As always, our office continues to assist constituents with federal casework. Our staff are continuing to work from home, so we can continue to accept cases at our website, ocasio-cortez.house.gov, or over the phone 718-662-5970. Happy to answer questions if anybody has them.
Thank you, Daniel. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Bernie, I would just like to plug in real quick. Thank you, Daniel, for I'm glad that she made it back in office because she's phenomenal and I love her spunkness. Ernie, I'm sorry I missed out with you representing Kathleen Nolan, our assembly. But I just wanted to also say thank you for all your prayers that you all send to the residents of Astoria houses, because we are dealing with tough times. And also I wanted to mention about a thing that communications going off even from Genera's office, trying to help the residents of Astoria houses possibly get a discount or restitutions from their rent, because although our utilities are not separately paid, but it is included in our rent. So he's working on with NYCHA and other officials or whomever else needs to be involved in these talks to see to it that those residents who are suffering and Astoria is suffering, and not only the fact that we got so much construction going in and around us, that has become a hardship on our quality of life. So I want to thank all those politicians. You all have been very triumphant in aiding us. You and your team has been phenomenal of not only just feeding on Saturdays, but she does a phenomenal job during the week for Astoria, Ravenswood, and Queensbridge. And Queens Together has been there with me since the end of March when this pandemic started. And I want to thank you all that you all have participated in the prayers, and those of you on this board and those who have been involved with us, making sure that we are being taken care of. And we are so thankful for you all. Thank you.
Vanessa,
Yes.
can I just add real quick? I'm sorry, this is Andre. I just wanted to add, Vanessa, if nobody told you, don't let it go another minute without you knowing how much the neighborhood respects and loves everything about you and what you were doing. If nobody never told you, let me tell you now and tell you again that what you do, I see you do every day, your feet on the pavement, and what you do for us is so greatly appreciated. I just wanted to make sure you got your roses too right now. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Andre. I appreciate that. I love you for that. Appreciate it.
And Vanessa, thank you, Andre, and thank you, Vanessa.
Can I add that from Carolyn to Vanessa too? And also just want to say that restitution or rebate on some of the rent is something that she's going to really push NYCHA for. Because absolutely, that's an important part.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Andre.
You're welcome.
Move on.
It's Deborah Harrington from Councilmember Van Bramer's office. Can I speak?
Yes, Deborah. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Every time
No
I
problem, no
speak,
problem.
somebody else gets in before me. I didn't realize it stays open.
No problem. Go ahead.
I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving on behalf of the council member and our team. We are still working remotely. I will put the telephone number in the chat if anyone needs assistance. And that's it. Stay safe.
Thank you, Deborah.
This is Harris with Controller Stringer's office. Could I go next?
Yes, go ahead.
Sure. Just very quick update for folks. We're doing a survey, a citywide survey on work and family as affected by COVID. And we're trying to figure out what has really changed over the past 8 months in our lives and how that's affected our lives. And using the survey, we'll be able to identify policy recommendations for the way we recover from this pandemic and the way we move forward as a city going forward. So I'll drop the link to the survey in the chat box. And if folks could, spare some time today or sometime this week and fill it out very quickly. It's, pretty self-explanatory questions. It is anonymous at the end of the survey. If you choose to stay anonymous, just don't, provide your name, don't provide your contact, and you can just hit submit. And we're trying to get as diverse of a group as possible so that the sample size is reflective of the city. So do share around if you have networks. I'll drop it.
Everyone please mute.
May I add something? This is Richard Kazami. I'd just like to thank Councilman Van Bramer and for taking the reins. We are trying to rename, I think it's 43rd Street and 34th Avenue for Whitey Ford. And we started the process through Jimmy's office. I know he's made the initial steps. So we really greatly appreciate all the work they're doing.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Is there any other elected official or their representative who wishes to make a comment? Okay, thank you all. I would like to get a motion to adopt the October 2020 minutes.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
All in favor? Or anyone
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Chair's report. Well, we had a presentation by the Test and Trace Corps yesterday. And in one word, I'm going to say, one sentence, all New Yorkers should be tested. Whether or not you have a symptom is irrelevant. Everyone should be tested. And you can get more information on the testing sites at newyorkcity.gov/coronavirus or www.newyorkcity nychealthandhospitals.org, test and trace. It's very, very important that we all get tested because unknowingly we might be spreading the disease. The rest of my report is happy Thanksgiving to all. I thank you for all you do, every single one of you. And I hope you eat well, drink well, be happy, wear a mask, not while you're eating and drinking, but wear a mask and stay safe, everyone. Thank you. Florence?
Hi, good evening, everyone. So today we had the district service cabinet meeting for the Queensborough President's Office. And today sanitation made a presentation regarding winter scheduling. A lot of the local homes and businesses in our area, the scheduling has changed to evenings. So what is happening is you're seeing the snow trucks out and the trucks are doing test runs, preparing for what will be done during the winter. We are going to see a little bit of changes due to the fact of the outdoor dining. There are concerns about the restaurants, which are on right side of the road. DOT is working alongside the Department of Sanitation to assist them to identify different locations. A lot of the restaurants in our district have made substantial financial input into these outdoor dining areas, and DOT and sanitation want to work with them so that during the snow, they may not be damaged. The snow trucks have the shovels to the right, so the major concern is for the businesses, which will be on the right side of the road when the trucks are coming down the streets.
Florence, are you done? There seems to be, are you done with your report?
Not yet. There's this 3-second delay due to YouTube on my end. I'm sorry for that.
No problem.
With the snow removal, we will be looking at the major roadways cleared first and then the side streets. You can follow the snow plows on their map. There's a 15-minute delay on the map. We have the map listed on our website.
Yeah.
I want to wish you all a happy and a healthy Thanksgiving. And as Marie said, please continue to follow all the guidelines, wear your mask, wash your hands, and do everything you need to do. Because when you leave,
Obviously, I'm not watching the show.
Excuse me, everyone. I'm hearing a dog barking and a telephone conversation.
What's the matter?
Please mute.
Connor, could you mute yourself?
What?
Connor?
Okay.
Committee reports. Community and Economic Development. Rod?
Thank you, Chair. No report at this time. Wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Consumer Affairs. Pauline,
Yeah.
you're doing that report tonight?
I certainly am, yes.
Good evening, everyone. And if you could please review your consumer affairs spreadsheet emailed to you. We are voting on an application for the month of November. The entities with which we agreed stipulations are marked. The 114 precinct provided a report stating there was only one business, Crystal Lounge, with issues. That committee intends to address 58 311 complaints, and there were 15 911 calls that included assaults. The report provided by the 114th on Crystal Lounge was delayed, and we only received it a few days prior. As a result, we're going to ask the State Liquor Authority to delay the review of Crystal Lounge application. And we're going to invite Crystal Lounge to meet with the committee and have the board vote on the application in December. In light of the 114th precinct's report that none of the remaining businesses have any significant issues, as we're going to vote on all of the applications and stipulations on the list, except for Crystal Lounge, I move to vote to the approve of the applications and stipulations on the list, except with respect to Crystal Lounge. Will anyone second the motion?
I second the motion. Rosanna Lafianis.
Is anyone opposed to the approval? If there are no objections, the motion will pass unanimously.
Thank you, Pauline. The motion is carried. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you. Environmental Protection, Antonella.
Hi, good evening.
evening.
We had our third Zoom
Good.
meeting regarding the work at Astoria Houses Esplanade. We still have to address the resiliency aspect of it. That's still being worked on. We're at the stage of identifying a local partner or local partners, plural, to share costs with Army Corps of Engineers. So we'll keep you updated as the meetings progress. We should be having a meeting every Friday until all the repairs are done and resolved. We'll keep you posted. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thanks for your patience on that.
Thank you, Antonella. Health and Human Services. Pauline, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you.
I thought I did.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Marie, you reported on that meeting regarding the testing and tracing, that they're encouraging everyone to be tested so that if they are positive, it can be traced. This is all starting with clusters that are now, clusters are going to be leading to community spread. I can tell you it is growing. Our numbers are growing in Astoria. So I just want to say to everyone, many people talk about this as if it's a war, but we have to be on the front line of prevention. And the only way we can do that is by doing things that we can control. And it's the same thing that we've talked about and many people have talked about all night, but it really works. So the key is to make sure that we're doing everything we can to prevent this from spreading. And I would like to say that Thanksgiving is a time that everyone's worried about, that there is a very big chance for spreading. So please make sure that you try to obey the rules, such as less than 10 people, try not to go into closed spaces, social distance, wear your mask, wash your hands, and try to stay away from high-risk people or people that have traveled. So with that, I'm saying happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And we hope to see you next month, healthy and safe.
Thank you. Thank you, Judy. Housing, Evie Hanzopoulos.
Hi, everyone. Just a quick update on the Ravenswood garage visioning sessions. I think I got sick the last full board meeting, so I didn't report on that, but we did have the second session in October, and there will be a summation report that's issued. So I'll be sure to share that with everybody. That should be coming soon. There is also a youth committee that is involved and engaged. So they're also going to give input onto kind of what the ideas are for that site. The other thing I just wanted to mention, we've been talking a lot about Astoria houses and the gas. There is going to be a rally and press conference on Saturday. There will be information going out tomorrow. It'll be Saturday at 11 o'clock, right by the building, which is 1-04 Astoria Boulevard. We're actually going to have it right at Radial Park, right next door. And that is to kind of, again, call attention to the issue of the residents not having gas for, I think we're on day 55. There's also another building that has half a gas line out. It's also down in Ravenswood, there's a building with no gas. So this is, a problem that's widespread across NYCHA. So anyone who wants to join, what I'll do is when we have the flyer, I'll send it to Florence and hopefully she can send it to all of you if you want to join us. Justice for All is coordinating that press conference and rally with the residents. Vanessa is involved and other residents as well. So those are just kind of two quick updates for me. We will be scheduling a housing committee soon. So we'll let you know when that happens, but wishing everyone good Thanksgiving. Oh, and we will be actually, Frontline Foods is going to be providing Thanksgiving meals to any family within the building that does not have gas that would like a Thanksgiving meal. So yeah, just trying to make sure that people have decent food to eat and can celebrate Thanksgiving if they aren't able to go out or go away because they can't cook. So.
Thank you, Evie. Land use and zoning, Elizabeth Evian. Elizabeth?
Yes, I had to unmute. I forgot to do it.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Going back to the business at hand with the hearing closed, we need to vote on this. We will send a letter to the LPC on what you determine. At the end of the meeting, as I had mentioned before, the members really didn't have very many questions except clarifications about what was happening within the building itself. And then the recommendation that they agreed upon, that they voted unanimously, was to recommend approval of the certificate of appropriateness for this work and for future window work. So if at this point, the motion would be to recommend approval of certificate of appropriateness for window replacement on the clock tower building. May I have a motion from someone on the board?
Motion.
Second, Antonella.
Second.
Who made the motion?
It was Ed Baber.
Ed Baber.
Ed Baber. And second was Antonella.
Okay.
And so I'm going to ask if there's anybody opposed, because this is not a roll call vote, I understand.
Yes, I'm opposed.
Okay.
Daniel.
Anyone? Okay, Daniel. Is anyone else opposed?
Opposed, Rod Thompson.
I'm sorry, who opposed?
Daniel Alabodi and Rod Townsend.
Okay. So from there being, let's see, that would be 35 who are present at this point and 2 opposed, the motion is carried. A letter will go to the Landmarks Preservation Commission and in support of this particular project. I just wanted to, and I want to thank Mr. Granville for the time that he spent with us explaining all of this. Most interesting project. And it would be nice to get a few more landmarks in our district. Maybe the Land Use Committee can work on that in the future. We have some nice structures, some nice residential buildings. Don't know how that would go over, but we can try. Anyway, the next meeting for the Land Use Committee is scheduled for December 2nd. And at that time, we have tentatively 2 informational presentations for rezonings in Hallett's Point. But more importantly is the zoning for the coastal flood resiliency text amendments that are coming up. The community board will have to hold a hearing on these text amendments so that in December, since we have to have our response in by the end of the year, and to city planning. And we will review those. There will be a presentation by city planning at the next meeting. I would also recommend that you go onto the city planning website and find the coastal zone flood resiliency text amendments and review them because I understand they're a little bit more complex than before. So when I get the information, I'll distribute it to the board through the office. Well, that's about it. I just want to wish everyone a good Thanksgiving, and I wish you all health. Thank you.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation, Katie Elman.
Hi, everyone. So last month in our report, we talked about the Parks Department giving a presentation and update on capital project in Rainey Park. What we did not bring up was the fact that we need a letter of support from the board to share with the Parks Department. So hopefully the changes and the repairs to the park will commence in 2021 and will last a minimum of a year. The changes to the park include, for those that may not remember, Florence sent around the plans, if you had a chance to look at them, include retaining the basketball court, but moving it to the south end of the park, removing the baseball diamond, but keeping the undulating nature of the open field, renovating the playground, redoing landscaping, additional trees. It does not include the waterfront esplanade area and the railing, and it does not include repairing or replacing the field house. So we the committee unanimously supports the plan, and the only thing we're going to ask for is for there to be consideration in this project and also in all future projects in our district and citywide for greater accessibility features for those that, just for it to be more inclusive for all people that may use the space. So I guess, do we just take, are we raising hands, Marie?
Katie, I got a quick question. It's Richard Kazami. Was it included in that also the construction of the barbecue pits? Because that's something that was a big change right there, having barbecue allowed there.
So there will be, grilling will be allowed. There will be designated grill stations, but in general, Rainey Park, as everybody knows, is highly used by families and groups as a place to gather and hold events, including barbecuing. So to formalize that in a way, there will be set picnic areas, but understanding that people will not only use those areas, they'll use other areas. So there'll be, they'll hopefully will try to include more the containers for spent coal and things like that. But yeah, so it will be officially a space where you can barbecue, where unofficially forever, everyone's been doing it. So does anyone have any other questions about that?
Okay, I'm going to just assume. Is that?
I did have a question. It's Rod Townsend.
Hey, Rod.
Katie, I know during the visioning there were people asking about a dog space. Was that just wholesale rejected, or was there discussion of it? Just curious.
Yeah, that came up during the meeting, and unfortunately, the Parks Department only held one official meeting, and there was a large group of dog owners that came and said that the way things are working right now is fine. So that's all they heard and took into consideration. So I also know in my community visioning work that there was a big call for a designated dog space, but because of off-leash hours and a really big love from dog owners in the community, they're opting to retain off-leash hours till 9 a.m. and not have a designated space for dogs. It's something that may come up again in the future, just because Socrates in some ways is also overrun with dogs and dog poop. There is a need for some kind of designated space for dogs, but it's not going to be at Rainey Park in this current configuration of capital project.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask the board, is anyone opposed to CB1 sending a letter of support for the Rainey Park project as described by Katie? No.
I
Okay.
just This is Jeff Martin.
Jeff?
I want to disclose that I work for Parks, so I can't vote on the matter. And I do also want to say that in regards to the dogs at Rainy Park and in response to Rod, there was a lot of support to keep the off-leash hours, like Katie said, at the public meeting. I know it's used heavily by many residents for that. It's one place that you can actually go and throw a ball with a dog. In this area, I don't think there's any others. So I think there was a big support for that at the community meeting. And then I'll also say, Katie, just at Socrates Park in general, I know they've been a lot more strict with dogs on leash in Socrates, so which has been great. I do think that you're right. In the past, there has been a big dog issue at Socrates Park, but I think that they've gotten that under control, and I think that they're doing a lot better job of enforcing off-leash hours, or sorry, enforcing leash dogs must be on leash. So in my opinion, the past couple of years, it has been cleaned up. Socrates, at least that is, with dogs. So
I just want to be.
Yeah,
I just want to be clear for a second.
Yeah.
I'm not putting down Socrates at all, and I'm not saying they're not doing a good job. I'm saying there is an abundance of dog poop there on certain days, and that's not a slight to Socrates. That's a slight to the dog owners. Clean up after your dog.
Sure, I
agree
with that, Katie.
I'd like to say one thing to clarify for everybody, just so they know why this is an issue. If you build a dog run, you are not allowed to have off-leash hours on Parks ground. This is the main reason why back in the day, they never built a dog run in Astoria Park. Instead, they built it underneath the Triborough Bridge because many people wanted to keep the off-leash hours in Astoria Park. If it had been put in the park, then the off-leash hours would have been denied. So that's what's behind all this.
That is correct.
And Katie, it's Mitch Waxman. I just had one question.
Sure.
I read the document you sent around, it said that waterfront access would be part of a different project, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did they give any indication that that project would be forthcoming at some calendrical moment, or is it just, someday?
There's, we're in a budget crisis. The money for this current project was put together over years. And to get to this point is a huge accomplishment. And so I don't want to downplay how wonderful it is and how grateful we are it's happening. But there are still obviously outstanding things in the park that need some attention. Waterfront.
So someday.
Someday. And we can all start, continue the advocacy work for that now.
Those will be projects for another day, Mitch. In the meantime, mine is one abstention. You have your letter of support for Rainy Park. So thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a happy and safe holiday.
Public safety, Ann? Would you like
Yes.
to say? Go ahead.
The 114 has changed their meetings. No meetings are scheduled as of now for the public safety. Please, everyone, take this COVID-19 very serious. Too many people are dying because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And I want to wish everyone the happiest Thanksgiving ever.
Thank you. Thank you, Ann. Transportation, Mitch Waxman.
We did not do a November meeting. Thursday night this week, New York City DOT will be doing a city bike town hall for the rollout of additional bike racks in the neighborhood. And we're going to schedule a December meeting, date to be determined.
Thank you, Mitch. Okay, public, anybody have any old or new business? No. Okay, seeing none, we'll go into the public session. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak? Please,
sorry.
Please introduce yourself, Tom. Are you on?
Come on now, you have 2 minutes, sir.
Hi, I am Navkaran Singh. I am a graduate student from CUNY School of Public Health and Health Policy, and I wanted to talk about New York City, which has an obesity issue right now where 22% of the population is obese, 12.5% of the population has diabetes, while 36.2% of New Yorkers are pre-diabetic. Predominantly affected by this are Hispanics and African Americans. And sugar-sweetened beverages have been linked to the rise of obesity rates, diabetes, and heart disease,
Like his name down.
and increasing the chance of premature death. Currently, as we see, these are factors that make COVID people more susceptible to it and morbidity to it. Recently, a resolution 0179/2018 has been introduced, which would require the FDA to place sugar warning labels on sugar-sweetened beverages, which will allow consumers to make well-informed decisions, which will allow them to make healthier choices. And this has been adapted in Chile, which has shown to be very effective. And it's a hope that it can happen here as well, so it can counter the obesity issues we're facing right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Singh.
Can we talk about the bike lane on Crescent Street?
Who's speaking, please?
Mario D'Antoni.
2 minutes.
Go ahead.
So we are residents of Crescent Street between Hoyt Avenue and Astoria Boulevard, and Astoria Boulevard and Newtown Avenue. We had found out in the past that the bike lane was put through during the pandemic in the wintertime. As homeowners and residents on this block, we are suffering with the bike lane because we don't have access to the front of our homes. We don't have access for senior citizens to get in and out of the car, to deliveries, packages. Our oil trucks can't, make our deliveries. We want to ask if the DOT can come out and reassess the situation. It's a one-way, one-lane street, these 2 blocks. And it doesn't work for pedestrians. It doesn't work for homeowners. It doesn't work for anyone here.
Doesn't work for anybody.
It's a danger for the cyclists. It's a danger for the older people, the pedestrians.
1 minute.
Can anyone give us any guidance? It's horrible. We don't know what to do. We would have never let this go through if we knew when the meeting was. And as a homeowner, what are we supposed to do?
How do we address this?
Okay, can you would you put your concerns in writing, please, and forward them
30 seconds.
to the community board office? Hello?
But we also want action. We want to know how we can get it changed past that, giving you the details and the information.
Well, the details come first, and then it will be sent to DOT. I mean, there might be no way to reconfigure that, but you have to express your concerns. And we will forward that to the DOT.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, hello. Is it okay if I chat?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, how are you? My name is Mehdi Umia. I represent Astoria Values. We're a not-for-profit located in Astoria, obviously. And I just wanted to introduce myself to the people that are on the call and everybody. I've always been meaning to go to these board meetings. My dad used to go when he lived in New York, but each time it was only on Tuesdays, and I'm really happy that you guys are now online. So we have the opportunity to say hello, let you know about ourselves and what we're doing. We're here to make good things happen. And the way we do that, we provide help to parents right now. And we've been doing this for the last 2 years with homework help and also with languages and with a lot of things that they need in order to make the most for their kids' lives, to help their kids with school, to help their kids, learn new things. We do robotics, we do all kinds of stuff. Another thing that we do is we provide food security, and we also do donations. So we've been distributing items and food
1 minute
to people all over. And we're very grateful for the support that we've received from the community. So if anybody wants to get involved with Astoria Values, you can go to our website, astoriavalues.com, join us on Facebook. And then finally, one thing that I also wanted to mention, the dog situation. I live in Astoria. I live right by the park. As somebody who has a phobia of dogs, I feel like a prisoner in my home because of what's happened in the mornings. I can't go to the park. The other problem is the dog, leaving the poop on the ground. When they leave the poop on the ground, please somebody give them a ticket, and the dogs without the leashes, it's going to take some kid being mauled to death before something is done. It's out of control. I would like to think that somebody will do something about irresponsible dog owners, because
10
they make it
seconds.
miserable for everybody else. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, and I wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving. God bless all.
Thank you. And Marty, would you please put your information, your website or Facebook page in the chat?
Sure. In this chat over here,
Right.
in the Zoom chat?
Yes,
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
thank you.
Marie, can I speak?
Comment?
Gloria,
Yes.
2 minutes.
go ahead.
I just wanted to mention, I agree with the people who are having the problem with Crescent Street bike lane because it comes all the way down into Dutch Kills, and we're having a terrible problem also. And as far as the Citibank Bike virtual town hall, I really don't feel that we need any more bikes in Astoria, in Long Island City, in Dutch Kills. We have a problem on 36th Avenue that we've been trying to deal with, where they moved the bikes onto the street and took the parking spaces away from in front of the businesses. We were told that it was probably temporary while they worked on the train. And now I know George is trying to get them to respond to us because the streets underneath the train are done. The sidewalks are done. There's more than enough room on the sidewalk to put those bicycle racks.
1 minute.
And they continue to be on 36th Avenue between 31st and 32nd Street. There's no reason for them to be in the street when they could be on the sidewalk where the sidewalks were made big enough for bikes.
Exactly.
There has to be some control as to where they put these bike racks, and they don't seem to be listening to the people in the communities. And the businesses over there are suffering. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gloria.
Marie, can I?
Marie, this is the public session, Rudy.
One at a
For the
time.
public,
Yes.
For the public. Let them
Okay.
speak first. Thank you.
Hi, it's Maria Zois. Could I make a comment, please?
Yes, Maria? Yes.
Yes, I had wanted to make a comment at the last meeting, but was having technical difficulties. And I really wanted to piggyback on what was just said. I am a parent of a disabled 16-year-old who has physical, cognitive disabilities and is nonverbal. Before Evie mentioned how we need more barricades, I am here to tell you that these barricades impact our seniors, our disabled, in a very large way that I feel the community needs to be aware of. The closure of 31st Avenue, I cannot tell you the man hours I have spent with DOT, with the community board to get change. There is no reason we are denied access to a street for one yoga class. It is just unacceptable as residents for us to do that. Thursday evening, here's a prime example of the lack of common sense.
1 minute.
I am driving my son to the doctor in the rain and the entire street is barricaded. Why do I have to get move a barricade so I can take them to a pediatrician? It is ridiculous. No one is using the street, and I understand why we still have to sit here and argue over something that's useless.
30 seconds.
This is affecting us not only on 31st Avenue, but on Crescent Street. This is an ADA violation, and people are not taking the needs of the disabled and the elderly into consideration. And I want to know who I need to talk to other than DOT to get this resolved. Thank you.
10 seconds.
Thank you.
I'd like to say something.
Who's in charge?
Marcy?
Yes, I also have an issue with the First Avenue being closed. I live around this area, and every time I walk by or drive by, there's no one really using the streets at all. So what is the purpose of barricading all that space for nothing? I also work in Jackson Heights, where 34th Avenue is being used. So I understand that being barricaded and being used for the public. But here in Astoria, it's common knowledge that that avenue is not being used at all. If my father, who's 80 years old, needs to go to the hospital, am I supposed to what? Get out of the car and move a barricade when it's not even being used? Like, we have an Astoria Park that's been remodeled. We spend lots of money getting that park done so that people can be in the street, which is not even happening. So what is the purpose? I drive through those barricades. and so do many other vehicles. The police see me, they say nothing. It's not being enforced. It's time to remove them.
Are we allowed to respond to any
Hold
of these comments? I'm just asking, Tom. I'm not going to. I'm just asking if we're allowed to.
Hold on.
I'd like to make a comment, please.
That woman finished?
Yes, I believe she
Still has
is.
another minute. Yes.
I'm
No,
sorry,
not.
Katie.
It should be removed now. It's not being used.
It's winter.
This is a community that's very, 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 very active with bicycles and scooters. There's so much traffic, yet we have streets barricaded that are not being used.
Okay, all these comments will be relayed to DOT. Maybe there's a solution here, whether the hours can be tweaked or the days can be tweaked. Let's work on that.
May I please make a comment?
I just want to say something. I'm sorry. The days are currently Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And as one of the people just said, they drive through. You are able to drive through. People do it all the time and have since the inception of the open street. And
yes, I'm driving through a street that's empty. So what is the purpose of barricading?
All right, let's not.
Thank you for your comments.
May I please make a comment?
Maury, can I make a comment,
Just
please?
a minute.
Hold on, one at a time, please.
One at a time.
Maury, people are suffering. I live in this neighborhood. We need to do something. I told the transportation committee meeting last month, and it was not taken care of. And I've been told that it used to be end on October, but it is in November. People are suffering. It's now cold. We need to take care of this as soon as possible. Please do so.
Thank you, Amy.
May I please make one comment?
2 minutes.
Okay. Even though I'm listed as a story boy, my name is Michael, and I live in that area. I'm a single father of 2 children, and I work multiple jobs. One of them is as a delivery person. And 31st Avenue, I have witnessed, and I did notice in the chat, Evie, I'm not sure if I pronounced your name correctly. You're saying that there's no denying of access. I counted 35 people laying down doing yoga. The yoga instructor came out as a car was about to go through, ran to pull the barricade, almost causing an accident. So please don't say that access is available when it's not. And he motioned to the people laying down on the floor saying, I'm sorry, I can't do anything. They're laying down on the floor. That is ridiculous. Are we waiting for someone to die? Especially now, where 4:45, it's dark out. Let's reconsider this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary.
Anyone else?
Marie, this is Wanda Radetti. I want to say hello to you, to Marie, to Rudy Sarchese, to Mitch, to so many friends. I feel like I came home again. This is fantastic what you do. I want to congratulate you. And I want to let you know that I will be a regular and I will be here. This is truly democracy at work. So congratulations to each and every one of us who is attending and caring so much. It's a pleasure. And happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you.
And I would like to say something.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
There's a lot of people on the chat saying for the 31st Avenue issue where it's only on Saturdays and Sundays from 8 to 6, which is not true, especially on 32nd Street and 31st Street. That street, they close from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. People, that street particular is closed every single day. I live right in front of it. I can see the barricades every single day. And sometimes the barricades are missing. And they bring the barricades from other streets.
One at a time.
Now, the problem is people will go there early at 7:45 and close the street for no reason. And I have argued with people multiple times on not closing it before 8 a.m. Problem is they'll do this early, but nobody wants to collect it at 8 p.m. Yesterday, for example, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, the barricades were there till 9 p.m. in the middle of the street. So when people are saying in the EV and them, that is not true.
1 minute.
Just a minute.
Go there right now. You see that the street is closed. I have nothing else to say. Give us back
Richard.
Hello,
Rick.
excuse me, I am speaking. So Andoni, I think the hours have changed recently to only the weekend.
I
Correct
live
me,
right in
anybody.
front
But-
of this area.
Okay,
I
so
can
if you
see
live right in
barricades
front and
every
they're
day.
closed other times, listen to what I'm saying to you. Kindly send a photo and send it to the board office,
Could I make a comment, please?
okay?
Yeah.
So we can check on it.
This is Richard Kazami. I'd like to make one quick observation. This open street program, which I think is a great program, I'd like to see more streets, open, promoting human-powered transportation, things like that. I would say one thing, though. This is a very successful program in Jackson Heights because Jackson Heights has a huge problem with lack of green space. They don't have parks. The only parks they ever had were those little privately held green areas within those garden apartments that were privately held. So they make a lot of sense. And as a matter of fact, existing parks like Traverse Parks are basically on asphalt and similar to this. We've actually, I think in the past, we closed a few streets up there adjacent to Traverse Park to make it bigger. So that is why it works well in Jackson Heights. I don't think that it's quite the same need for it in Astoria, though, for just residential and for these kind of programs. I hope that some kind of discussion can be made where a compromise happens. This is a great example of where we could all compromise to give some space and some time to 31st Avenue, but also allow others to enjoy this.
Okay, right now, Richard, it's
Thank you.
only for the weekend. I understand the open streets itself will be tweaked because there are a lot of issues with the barricades. If people have to move them, the majority of the time, they don't put them back. And if somebody has a child or an elderly parent, it's difficult, but maybe there's a way to tweak it in the future.
Could I make?
Okay, Rudy, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have just a couple of comments. One is for the bike lane, which is my association. We have a lot of landlords. There's a lot of complaints there. Everyone and nobody says that this bike lane makes sense. We don't say, so you're supposed to use the bike. You can use the bike for 100 years. It's been used. It has no problem. I mean, if the bike, the bike is right, it would do the right things. And the cars, you always look for the cars there. So the expense, the money they spend for this bike.
Can't hear you, Rudy. Can't hear you.
I want to know. I want to know. Yeah, you hear me?
Yes.
I want to know how much is the budget for this bike lane? How much money those they spend? They could be sent otherwise, something better than this bike lane. Another question: the 31st Avenue. I go there every day. The only thing I say using it was Saturday and Sunday when there was a warm day, like 72 degrees. There was about 5-6 people street today. But every day I pass today, maybe at least twice a day, was nobody there. And they have this you can't go through. You got to move there in order to go through. It's no sense in it. So
30 seconds.
Thank you, Rudy.
All right. So take a look. I want to take a note and answer.
Time.
This is terrible.
Sarah Fraser, did you want to speak?
Hi, yes, thank you so much for letting me speak. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I just wanted to say that I have been volunteering with the 31st Avenue Open Streets, and it's been a really positive experience. I'm a mother of 3 children, and the parks are pretty far for us to get to, and not every family is lucky enough to have a car and be able to get out. And so during the summer, I thought it was a great experience, and I think a real highlight for our community and significant demonstration of what we can do as a community when we come together was our Halloween event that was very successful, well distanced, very safe, and a positive thing for all the neighbors. And I think it's the kind of thing that we can do going forward. And I want to reiterate what everybody else has been saying, that we have adjusted the hours for the winter. It's 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you do see some barricades out there after 6 p.m., feel free to pull them off to the side. We appreciate the help. We can only do what we can when everybody volunteers together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Dominic Stiller.
Just a minute, Dominic. Eli,
This is a public session.
Eli, would you like to? Go ahead.
Yes, I would like to speak. So I'm probably, aside from the yoga class, I'm probably one of the people who uses the open street the most. No one is saying that this program is perfect, but the idea that like people have said like, oh, we're forcing people to show ID or like ask them if they live on the street is absolutely ridiculous. People can get through. All they have to do is ask nicely. That's it. And then also too, in terms of like the protection of the street, people are saying how it's an inconvenience. I think it's going to be a lot more inconvenience because if we have these crappy barriers that aren't being replaced like DOT and NYPD said they would be, like someone's going to get hurt. So like, why don't we all work together to make it safer for everyone?
Nobody is using 31st Avenue.
Please do not call out.
Literally, that is not true, and you know that. So because the complaints are either
one at a time.
For the rest of the
Yeah, I'm
community.
speaking. Thank you.
Not a debate, one at a time, please.
Because the complaints from people who are against the open street are saying two things. They're like, one, oh, it's too full with all these yoga people and all these other people. And then you're saying no one uses it. So which is it?
Thank you, Eli.
Could I make a comment, please?
2 minutes.
Sarah mentioned before the Halloween event and how successful it was on the 31st Avenue open street, correct? Well, I would like to note that I found it appalling because a box truck shows up from the People's Bodega that has hanging body parts and decapitated heads, which I did not find child-friendly, and maybe that's a little more traumatizing. So I think it depends on who you talk to and what their side of the view is in terms of how we feel it. I approached DOT, I spoke with John O'Neill, I asked for a compromise. I don't want the program to end. I want fairness for the disabled. I want fairness for the elderly. And basically that's not what's happening. Everyone's commenting, oh, Monday to Friday, no one's denying you. I had to show Randy, the yoga teacher, my son's disability play card. So we're not asked. I was asked and I showed it, but I shouldn't have to. There's no reason during the week that we should have the street closed. We are residents. Our input should be taken into consideration just as much as on the weekend, take it. Barbecue, Eli, it's great. Have a weekend for the children. It's great. But meet us halfway. You can't have it every day. And don't tell me it's not closed weekend. Today at 3 p.m., a fire truck had an emergency call and had to stop to move the damn barricade to get through. Are you kidding me?
And let's wait for someone to die first. What if it was your parent?
I can't.
Exactly.
Okay.
The
Thank you
amount
for
of
your
property
comments.
taxes I pay and
10
I can't get down
seconds.
my block, that's a problem.
You pay harder in taxes. Some of us work multiple jobs. This is ridiculous. We're not like some other people who cry to get their way.
You're out of order.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else want to speak who hasn't spoken yet?
I do. I wish to speak.
Okay.
Can I be recognized?
2 minutes, sir.
Yes. Your name,
Okay.
please?
Max Frankston. I live on 20th Avenue by Steinway. For the past maybe year, there are drag racers on 20th Avenue, and it gets so bad that on the back window of the apartment, the fumes come in the summer. So I've called the police, I've called the community board, nothing seems to do it. Does anyone else notice this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it's an issue of safety in addition to air and noise pollution. What can be done?
Well, have you called, you've called the precinct and have you called?
I've called the precinct, I've called the community board office.
Okay, I would also suggest you call 311.
1 minute.
I don't live too far from you, and I have drag racing on 23rd Avenue. And you should call 311 when it occurs too, so they can track it.
Right.
Hopefully,
okay.
we'll resolve this problem sooner or later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Something?
Time, hold on. 2 minutes.
Who is speaking?
No, it says something simple. Is there any way to get more garbage cans around Astoria?
Garbage cans for the most part are on commercial districts.
Yeah, but there's a problem. Either they're not being picked up, they're getting very full. The community is disgusting.
Okay, there's a problem, not a problem. Unfortunately, there used to be, basket pickup is not as often as it used to be. I understand it's being worked on. Are you talking about a specific location?
Broadway, 30th Avenue. I mean, I've grown up in this community. I've never seen it this dirty.
All right, so there have been budget cuts of sanitation, and basket pickup is not what it was several months ago.
Yeah, and in front of businesses, I mean, if businesses could be encouraged to sweep up in front, I don't know. Something has to be done.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Anyone else? Okay, I will like to get a motion to adjourn. And just want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving before we do that again.
I make a
Thank you for
motion.
being here.
Second.
Thank you.
In the motion.
Second.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Second it.
Meeting is adjourned. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Thanksgiving,
everybody.
God bless. Be
safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good night. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye, everybody. Thank
Everybody
you.
stay safe.
I'm not coming up on the big screen when I talk. Do I know if they hear me?
Did you take it off mute?
Tom, are you there?
Did you take it off mute?
Huh? Yeah, I took off mute.
I'm shocked at the number of people.
Oh, there.
I see some lady, but how come
Right?
when people talk, their big
They're
picture
going
comes
off.
on? My big